Hi, it's Carla again with Concrete Gardens Homestead, and I'm so excited to be coming to you tonight because we're going to do a quick garden tour. I promised you all that in an earlier video last week, so we're going to do that tonight. I still don't have everything planted. I'm working on it, but I'm going to show you what I do have going because some of it's really exciting. I'm growing cucumbers right here to the right of me for the first time this year, and as you can see, they're doing really well. Bethany loves cucumbers. She literally will pick these right off the vine and eat them like an apple, peeling and all. I've got snap peas, sugar snap peas, where you can eat the pod and everything right over here behind me. I'm going to show you those up close. First time I've ever been successful at growing these. I did get them in the ground a little bit earlier this year than I did last year, but the good Lord has given us cooler temperatures, lots of cloudy days, and lots of rain this spring, so they've done really well. And Bethany and I started eating sugar snap peas right off the vine last week. I don't think we're ever going to get a harvest into the kitchen, and that's okay. But next year, she's already talked to me, we're going to double our trellis size. This trellis here made out of cattle panels, and we're planting almost an entire raised bed of just sugar snap peas. They are so good. But anyway, I'm going to take you on a little tour. We might even get out to the front yard. I've got the hosta bed. We've been working on that, but it has taken a back seat for the last, I would say, 2 months, so it's not completely finished, but it sure does look a lot better than the last time you saw it in March. So that's exciting. But anyway, I'll take you out front and show you some of that too. And if we can, my deck is a total disaster, a total mess, but I may take you up on the deck just to show you the GreenStalk, the Leafy GreenStalk, and how that's going, because it really was a huge hit this year. I cannot say enough good things about the GreenStalks, especially that Leafy. It's been on our deck. We've eaten more salads than we've ever eaten in our life, and lettuce, fresh lettuce for sandwiches and wraps. I mean, it is just wonderful. And then we have 2 of the big original GreenStalks just full of strawberries, and they're just now starting to get ripe. We've enjoyed a couple here and there, but hopefully later on this summer we'll have some good sweet strawberries that we can really enjoy in cereal and for breakfast and just snacks, okay? So we're going to get started. I'm going to take you on a quick garden tour and show you what we got going on. All right, here we go. Okay, everyone, here we go for the garden tour. I had to start right here because you got to see this crazy cat. This is Crystal, and he loves to lay on this black landscaping fabric. So anyway, he is one of a few cats that we have. Long story there with our cats, but I'll be totally transparent. We have 6 cats, and they're indoor-outdoor cats. They have their own cat door, so they stay outside most of the time, spring through fall, and they're even outside most of the time in the winter, except when it's snowing or icing or really super cold. But that's one good thing with my garden. I don't have to worry about mice or voles or rabbits or anything like that. So I can't tell you the number of rabbits, baby rabbits, they've brought through the cat door into the living room to show me, and baby birds and all kinds of stuff. So, but anyway, here is our first bed that I'm going to show you, and I just planted some new peppers in it yesterday. I'm just trying to get some of these going here. It's really been hard. So I started these from seed. These are really hot peppers. These are actually, according to the Seeds and Such place that I bought them from, these peppers are number 6 on the Scoville scale. They're called Congo Black, and these are what you make the Jamaican jerk spice with. This sun is not really going to cooperate with me. I may have to get on the other side if it won't mess up my video. But anyway, they're also known as chocolate habaneros, and so I'm hoping that these will grow and produce, you know, at least by September, even October. Our last frost date is toward the end of October here in Zone 6B, so I'm hoping I get some. I planted 8. You see all those landscaping spikes in there. That's to keep this one cat out of these raised garden beds. Our little Marshmallow, she was born here from a rescue cat that we didn't know was pregnant, the mama cat, and she had 2 babies under my bedroom dresser. Anyway, they look just like twins, Benny and Marshmallow. Well, Marshmallow likes to get up in here and scratch and tear up my plants and do things. She's like a dog. So anyway, I've put all those spikes in the bed and it works. It keeps her out. Now, these peppers are bell peppers, and I normally don't plant hot peppers right next to sweet peppers. But I got to reading on a gardening website. I'm kind of new at this. My dad gardened for 80 years, but I've only really gardened on my own. This is only my 3rd year. But I read that unless you're saving the seeds to plant for next year, you don't necessarily have to worry about it so much. So I'm not saving any of these seeds, and I had to get these little Congo blacks in the ground. They just weren't doing good in the seed tray that I had them in. You can tell how small they are, and they've been in there for 2 months. They should be bigger. So I planted these around the middle of May, and they were only about 2-3 inches tall in the seed tray. These are yellow monsters, and I've got 4 of those. I'm trying all the bell peppers this year to see what we like. I want to freeze a bunch. We use a lot of bell peppers, spaghetti and meatloaf and everything. We just love bell peppers. We even do stuffed bell peppers, and of course I use bell peppers in my salsa that I make. So these are King of the North. These are supposed to be big peppers too, just like the yellow monsters. Now you can see I have 3 new ones. Yeah, that's because Marshmallow dug those 3 up. So they all should be this size, but that little stinking kitty got in here and dug these up. So I had to replant these yesterday. Finally got around to it. So hopefully they take off and give us some nice big bell peppers. All right, and then my next section I planted double. I've heard lots of good things about these California Wonders, and I planted them last year and they just were a flop. I don't know what I did wrong, or maybe it was just the weather. We had a really bad drought here in Missouri, southwest Missouri last year. I mean, a really bad drought. We had 2 weeks solid of 100 degrees, and then like another week of like 95 and plus. I mean, it was just horrible. So a lot of my plants, especially my tomatoes and my sweet peppers, my bell peppers, did not do good. Now, my okra loved it, and my really hot peppers seemed to like it. But I think I only got maybe 4 bell peppers off of about 12 bell pepper plants last year. And none of them were California Wonders, so I still don't know what their bell peppers look like or taste like. So I've got 8 planted, 2 rows, both sides of the bed of California Wonders. And then we've got 8 of our Ozark Giant Bell. I figure with a name like Ozark Giant Bell, it should really like the growing conditions here in the Ozarks. So I planted 8 of these. Again, these were all planted about the 3rd week of May. Really late, really, I guess. I don't know. Maybe not so much for peppers. Peppers like the ground to be really warm, and they actually do better as the temperatures warm up, especially the overnight temperatures. So these probably more or less were planted on time. I know a lot of people plant as soon as the last frost, but I typically don't plant peppers for the last frost. If you hear that noise in the background, that's my family moving some rocks for me, big rocks, to line that hosta bed. So we're getting close to getting that finished, but it won't be this week, but we're moving rocks. So that's the peppers. Now, I didn't have any more bell peppers I needed to plant, and I had these pitiful little tomato plants, and this is a new one for me, if you can see that. These are called the Bella Rosa. And if you're on Facebook at all, you've probably, and if you're a gardener, or if you ever talk about tomatoes, you've probably seen this Bella Rosa advertised. Holy cow, I don't know what they're doing. Sounds like they're sawing rocks in two. I'm sorry about that noise, guys. I guess they don't know I'm making a video. I didn't tell them. We'll pause for a minute. All right, these are the Bella Rosa tomatoes. They are semi-determinate tomatoes, and they're very heat tolerant, supposedly, which is why I wanted to give them a try. Now, these are really, really sick looking little seedlings. Yes, I grew these myself, but yes, they were just in a smaller seedling tray for too long. So anyway, I planted them just yesterday, which was June 11th. And we'll see how they do. They're supposed to be really good for sauces. They're kind of like a bigger Roma type tomato, I think. I'm not sure. They're about 8 to 12 ounces, but they're round. And the good thing is they're heat tolerant. So if we get some of those 100-degree days, hopefully they will keep making tomatoes for me. But I planted 6 of them, and I'm going to fertilize them and baby them and really take good care of them here and see if we can't get them to grow. Hopefully. So, all right. And then there's the 8 little Congo black Jamaican jerk peppers. All right, we're going to go over here to the next bed. This is my watering can and my tub of fertilizers there. That keeps the rain and moisture out of them. All right. Now this bed, I'm trying a lot of new tomatoes this year. I'm trying some that I tried last year that just didn't do very well. And one of the ones that I just really, really want to do well is this mortgage lifter. And so these first 3 plants right here are mortgage lifters. These were developed in West Virginia, which is where my daddy is from. All right, so these mortgage lifters, I really, really would love for them to do well this year. You can see my strings. I might not put you here in the sun. I'll show you this way. But you see my chains. I just have T-poles, a little bit of PVC pipe over them, and then that holds the chains up, the PVC pipe, that T that we made. But I learned this raised bed gardening method from Brian on Next Level Gardening. He's out of California. If you guys have never seen him before, check him out. He is really, really a smart guy and knows a lot about gardening and especially tomatoes. I just haven't had a good year of tomatoes. This is my 3rd year of trying, and I'm really hoping that we get some good tomatoes. But these tomato, I don't know what you call these right here, these tomato clips. I mean, they're not clips. These are the strings. But those, you see how they are made. He sells those on his website, and those are really good things. If you can find those, you can hook them right into a chain link or whatever. And then I use the little white clips, and as you go farther up, you can see one right there. You see that clip? You just clip it to the string, and then it holds your tomato plant. And you keep these pruned. These are indeterminate tomatoes. So you've got to keep these pruned if you have them in a raised bed, especially. Now, if you plant them out in the ground, you know, that's up to you. A lot of people say don't prune them, and they don't. I would probably still prune some because I want airflow and everything to get through my tomatoes. I don't want to deal with any fungal diseases or anything like that. So you got to have airflow. But anyway, these mortgage lifters, back to them. So they were developed in West Virginia, and I came across them last year through a catalog, I think the Baker Creek catalog, and I read the story. So my dad was born in 1929 in West Virginia, and these tomatoes were developed around 1933 in West Virginia from a farmer, and they were so popular he would sell the plants at like just a farmer's market or a roadside stand for $1 each. And in 6 years, he paid off his mortgage. So anyway, so he named them mortgage lifters. So I've got 3 of them here. and I hope that we get some good ones. They already look better than they did last year. So right here, I've got 2 German Johnson tomatoes, and now these are supposed to be a pretty good sized tomato. Oh, the mortgage lifter, they're supposed to get between 1 and 2 pounds each. So we'll see. Last year I never got any, probably over 8 or 9 ounces. These German Johnson were recommended to me last year by a greenhouse owner. Said that they were his wife's favorites, and no matter what he planted year after year, he always had to have German Johnsons. So anyway, I tried them last year. They didn't do good, but nothing did good, so I didn't hold that against him, and I've tried them again this year. So I've got 2 German Johnsons. And then right here, these are Big Zack. Now, all I did was just read an article about the Big Zack, and these are one of the ones that is really close to a world record holder. These tomatoes can get to between 4 and 6 pounds each with proper growing conditions. Now, I probably figure I don't have proper growing conditions, but you know what? I'd really be happy with a 1 to 2 pound tomato, because I don't think I've ever had that. So anyway, Big Zack, I've got 2 of those, and we're gonna see how they do. All right, and then right here, this one is a little bit taller than the rest of them. I bought this. Now, all these I've started from seed, except for this one right here on the end. And this is a pink ox heart. And I bought this from a guy at the Master Gardener's plant sale in Christian County this past year. Okay, great. So now the guy next to us is gonna mow his yard. I'm so sorry, guys, but I have to do this stuff after work. And so anyway, we'll try to get through this. But this is a pink ox heart, and I've never even heard of it or had a tomato from it, but I hear it's really, really good, so I bought one. All right, and then here's my cucumbers I was telling you about. They have grown a lot. We're gonna grow them up this trellis, and they're gonna just kind of hang through. You have got to be kidding me. Okay, well, they finished mowing for right now, but I think the weed eating is going to start. So I'm going to try to tell you about these cucumbers. I've got 4 different types of cucumbers here. This is my first year growing my own cucumbers. My brother has always provided cucumbers, extras of his that I've pickled. Last year we didn't have any extra, but we had lots of pickle from the year before that, so it was no problem. But this year, Bethany wanted to grow our own because she wants to eat them raw, right off the vine. So I know down here, starting right here next to my pink ox heart, this one is, there's 4 right here together. These are all baby gherkins, and I'm going to make baby dill pickles out of them and baby sweet pickle out of them. And then I think the next one is a Boston pickling. I'm gonna have to go over here so I can see the tags. Hopefully my shadow doesn't get in the way. So let me see. This is the baby gherkins, I'm pretty sure. Yep, gherkin cucumber. Yep, there's the Boston pickling. So these 4 are the Boston pickling. And then we have 3 of each to eat. So these are going to be fresh eating. I mean, I'm not saying that I won't pickle some of these, but these are more for eating. These are called the Early Fortune. I was hoping to get some a little bit earlier than the rest. And then something happened. Oh, I had 4 of these originally planted. These are called the Tokyo Green cucumbers from Baker Creek. And I had to start 3 of them over because 3 of them got diseased right away, and I don't know why. So only 1 right here made it, and it's pretty tall. And then I've got 3 more in there coming right up behind it. And these are just radishes that need to be harvested. And then onions. I've got onions in every bed to try to control some of the pests this year. Look at these radishes, guys. Can you see those? These are French breakfast, and they're huge. But I like them in salads, sliced thin. The rest of the family does not. They're a little bit too peppery, but I'll tell you, we found out if you roast them or roast them in an air fryer, they taste like roasted potatoes. So we're going to plant some more. Hopefully they'll grow in the summer and they'll be good because we love them now roasted. So healthy for you too. So healthy. All right, so these 2 tomatoes here right on the end. This is a new type I'm trying this year, hopefully a big boy, 2 big boys. That's a hybrid tomato. And these should get pretty good size. They're going to be disease resistant. They're going to be heat tolerant. Hopefully they're going to do good. The plants so far are doing really good. When I put them in the ground, they weren't very big. They were only 4 weeks old. And they've probably been in the ground now right at 4 weeks. And so they're doing really good. This right here is the Better Boy hybrid. Now I have grown the Better Boys before, and they are really good tomatoes. They produce a lot, high yield, and again, heat tolerant and disease resistant. And then this one, oh, this is the world record holder. This is delicious, and I have 2 delicious tomato plants right here. World record tomato plant holder, 7-pound tomato. So again, that's perfect growing conditions. I totally do not expect to get a 7-pound tomato at all. Never intended to. But again, I would be happy with a 1 to 2 pound. I know a lot of you grow 1 to 2 pound tomatoes. I have not done that yet, and I'm trying to do that. And then this is one of our favorite tomatoes, especially to eat, a Cherokee Purple. I've grown this is my 3rd year. We absolutely love Cherokee Purple tomatoes. They are delicious on sandwiches. They're delicious to make tomato juice out of. And they just, even if you put them in salsa, they give it a deeper, richer color. All right, so this bed, this is the last bed. This is one I actually call bed 1. This is the double bed. This is the first bed we built. We were going to make all of them double beds until we realized how much work and how much time that was going to be. And we really wanted to plant something last year. So that's a double bed. And then these 2 are single beds. As you can see, they may become double beds at some point, but right now they're working just fine as single beds. So anyway, in this bed, again, I've got onions down the whole bed because I've just learned from other YouTubers, especially like the Rusted Garden. I've learned from him, and even Brian with Next Level Gardening mentions planting onions and garlic in with, your raised beds. It just helps deter pests. So these are the onions I started from seed this year. You can go back and watch that video. I just bought packs of seed, and they are really doing pretty good. I'm kind of excited. They're bulbing up. Here's a bulb. I think that one's going to be a red onion maybe. These are the candy onions, and I think I have some candy onions that are purple and some that are yellow. But I got these Ray from across the street that has the greenhouse, and he gave me some seed, and so these are candy onions, and these are the ones that are the intermediate day, so they're not long day or short day, they're intermediate day, and they grow really good here in this part of the country. So we're going to see what happens. Then I've got celery. So last year we tried our hand at celery. Celery's not the easiest thing really to grow, in my opinion. You got to start it way early, like in January, in seed trays, or just buy it from a nursery. I start mine. Anyway, we grew 3 last year from Baker Creek of this Chinese pink celery, which is this one right here. It's got little pink stems on it. You see that? And it was really good. So this year we decided to grow more. And I was watching the Rusted Garden again, and his celery was just absolutely gorgeous. And it was the Utah Tall variety. So that's what this is. All here in the front of this raised bed is Utah Tall. This was all of the Chinese pink in this section from Baker Creek, and only 2 made it. I Have no idea what happened to the other ones, unless like a rainstorm or something took them out when they were real little. So just about 2 weeks ago, I had a tray of Utah Tall left over I was going to give to Ray, and I took, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, I took 5 out and put in here because we really like this celery that we grew last year. So hopefully we get a nice crop of celery. And then this section, here's the section I broke. We're going to get that replaced. But anyway, I was digging a cherry tomato out of there last year, right there where that little tag is probably, and I pried against it with my shovel and snapped that in two. I didn't want to tell Left Brain about it, but now it's really poked out so much you can't miss it. So he noticed it right away this year. So yeah, we have to replace that. But anyway, here's another section of Utah Tall celery. And then this is Utah Tall, but I can tell right there that one got mixed in because that, guys, is a Chinese pink. So we have 3 Chinese pink, and then the rest Utah Tall. And then my snap peas, my sugar snap peas. Now I have 2 different varieties. I can't remember this variety, and I don't know that the label is still in there. I'll put a note on the video. But this was recommended from Farmer Dan. These are the Cascadia. Oh, wait a minute. Naturally, he's weed eating right next to the fence. There's that green stalk I'm going to put together for my green beans, if I can ever get to it. Look at the weeds I've got to pull. Oh, yeah, I'm planting stuff in there. I just got to get those weeds pulled out. Bethany's supposed to help me. Okay, guys, here we go. I'm going to show you my sugar snap peas. I tried to grow these last year and just did not get them planted soon enough. And the heat, we got heat immediately last year. It went from spring rains to I think about 85 degrees in May. And sugar snap peas just can't take that. You need to plant them. They're frost hardy, so you need to plant them in early March. Now I didn't get these planted in early March. Probably just too much rain and working too much, but I think I got them planted this year about mid-March, end of March, and they have done well. We've had cooler temperatures, but look at those, guys. These are just the best peas. I can't even tell you how many of these that Bethany has just picked right off of here. Just snap them off. Look at that. I'm gonna eat that right now. Oh my goodness. That is so good. So sweet. But these are just loaded with peas, at least enough for snacks. Again, we just eat them right off. There's a good one right here. I'm going to have it before she gets it. So good. Yeah, when you grow organically like we do, no pesticides, no herbicides, you can just pick right off the vine, especially after a rain like we had yesterday. Look at those right there. Those look good. Anyway, these down here on this end that have done so well are called Cascadia, and I will always buy those from now on. Those were recommended by a local farmer, Farmer Dan. He's on the KY3 News every week. Fast Night Farms, I think, is his farm, but he recommended those. And again, kudos to my neighbor across the street. When he found out I was planting sugar snap peas, he told me about Farmer Dan recommending those, and he ran in the house and got me a little snack size bag of them, more than enough, and I planted them, and they are so good. This right here, guys, is a volunteer tomato. I had tomatoes. This whole bed last year had 32 tomatoes in it. And then, you know, they didn't do very good, so some of them just, oh, look who's shown up to have a pea. Oh, hi, Bethany. So, anyway, this tomato is here. And we don't know what it is, so we're just trying to keep it alive. I pruned it. You can see it's got good airflow through there. Got all the suckers off of it. Got it tied up with my string. And we're just gonna see what it produces. Oh my, it's got, this just happened. I just pruned this a couple days ago. Look at that, guys. It's got 2 little tomatoes on it. Okay, exciting. If they turn yellow or orange, I'll know what kind it is. If it turns red, we'll just have to guess, probably. All right, more onions. I've got yellow Spanish onions in here. I can't remember now. The Italian onion. So I think this is the Italian, maybe. And I've got yellow Spanish in that other bed, the middle bed. And my beets. Now my beets didn't do the best this year. I mean, these did, but I planted 2 rows of beets all the way down through here, all the way to the end, around the tomato, which was about the size of that beet right there when I planted the first round. And guys, I probably planted 100 beets, if not more. And I'm not kidding, only 10 germinated and came up. And I don't know why, but this is part of the 10. I picked 3 and took them in today because I felt like eating them. But this is not enough to can pickled beets. And then these, I'm gonna cook these greens this year. My cousins, also from West Virginia, tell me that the greens are as good as the beets. And I never knew that. I don't think my mama ever cooked the greens. But I'm gonna try that this year. So 2 weeks ago, I planted new beets. And here they are, they're coming up. I've got to get out here and thin them. And this is just a pack of seed from Walmart. Might have been Burpee or it might have been Fairy Morse. I don't remember. But they did well, and most of them have germinated. And if they do good and develop bulbs, Bethany and I will be canning pickled beets this summer because we love them. All right, and then I've got some additional tomatoes here that I got in, planted, because again, the beets did not do so well. So I stopped the beets right here and said, you know what? We're gonna devote the rest of this into this bed to tomatoes. So now these are only about 2 weeks old. This is a new one I'm trying. Got this at Baker Creek when we visited there in January. This is Black Beauty. I can't wait to see the tomatoes from this. They're supposed to be really, really good. This is my 3rd year trying out a pineapple tomato. I really, really hope I get a good tomato from this. They're supposed to be really sweet and maybe even a little bit citrusy. You can see I topped some of my onions and I just put the tops right in the bed. Again, the smell from onions and garlic deter other pests. All right, this one is probably a black from Tula. Marshmallow, my little cat, likes to steal my tags. And I think that's a black from Tula because right here next to it is a black creme. And I planted these last year. These are heirloom tomatoes originally from parts of Ukraine that were brought back over here from, I believe, World War II. But anyway, they didn't do well last year. They're not very heat tolerant, and we had way too much heat. But I'm trying them again. Here's an Abe Lincoln tomato I tried last year that didn't work, and so I'm trying it again this year. Would love to get some tomatoes from these. And then these 2 have been planted a month, and you can see how much taller and bigger they are. These are beefsteak. I've never grown a beefsteak tomato, so I'm pretty excited to give it a try this year. And that's what this is. So anyway, I've got this garden bed out here is all ready. You can see my weed burner. I've got my line up for straight lines. I want it to be straight. We're going to burn some holes, and we're going to get the tomatoes from the deck planted. Anyway, but I wanted to do this quick garden tour first. And then the next time you see the garden, that area that I tilled is going to be full of plants. All right, guys. Well, this is my garden. Oh, just real quick, I'll talk about these. You probably noticed these. Let me back up. These are my volunteer sunflower plants. And these babies are already, well, the fence is 6 foot, so they're 8 to 9 foot tall already. They're the mammoth, so they'll get up to 14 foot tall. They did last year. And they're just awesome. But we take the heads of them off once they develop, and we nail them to the top of the fence post, the big post there, and let the birds come and eat them. They just love it. So that's where we had several, and that's where some seeds fell and they came up. And they're going to be gorgeous, and they're right there at the end of the garden. Couldn't be more perfect. So anyway, that is that. All right, guys, so we're on the other side of the storm shelter bed. There's the raised beds over there, just to give you an idea. This was the first raised bed we built. These slabs are quite a bit longer, and it just was taking too much mortar to make them. It wasn't working out evenly, and they're just a little bit too long. These are 4 foot long, 48 inches. So this is a 4x4 bed, and this year, I decided to try my hand at carrots. So I made this soil, mixed it with peat and sand and black cow, and planted carrots, and they are doing really good. There's some open spots there where they didn't germinate, and I've got some there in the back that I obviously need to thin out a little bit, but these are going to be so good. I had to thin some out just about a week ago. I got all the front here thinned out, and they are long, little bitty carrots, so they're doing good and they're able to grow. Now this over here is my potatoes. I've got them in containers, as you can see. I've got 2 different types. I've got 4 containers, 2 different types of potatoes. I've got the Yukon Gold, and I've got the Red Norland. So I've got some different container types and sizes just to see. Again, I like to experiment and see what does good. And so that's 4 containers of the potatoes. And then these 4 containers are for my sweet potatoes, which are still on the deck. Got to get some soil in there, and I get those going. These are lilies that I dug up in the spring. I was going to plant blackberry bushes. I still am, just didn't get to it this year. But anyway, I just put these containers over here. I'll get those lilies out of there at some point, and the containers will be for vegetables, maybe in the fall. And then this was okra last year. I planted 12 okra plant and some green beans in this bed. So nothing's been done to it. And look at the weeds that Bethany and I have got to pull. So maybe the next time you see this, you'll see some okra growing. It did really good in there last year. It gets lots of sun, and okra loves sun and heat. So we've got to get it in the ground though. We're running late, but you know what? Again, we'll get it done, and we'll still have vegetables just later than everybody else. Okay, everyone, now you're gonna have to excuse the mess, but these are the green stalks that I have strawberries in. I have ever-bearing strawberries. Let me think about this. Yeah, I think these are the ever-bearing strawberries in this container, and then over here in this container, GreenStalk, I'm sorry, are the June bearing. So I'm trying the 2 different types just to see what does better. Lots of blooms. I picked off a lot of blooms early on to give them time to root. You can see I planted every other row. Top row, skipped a row, skipped the second row, but now I've got runners, but planted the 3rd row down, skipped number 4, and planted in number 5. And then you can see the runners. This nice big plant here is a runner. So is that one. Here's a runner. And so anyway, strawberries are perennial. They'll come back next year. So I'll have all these pockets filled. Same with over there. You can see I've got runners starting. They're getting big enough to get into pockets. There's one in that pocket from up here. And so some hanging out here ready to find a home. Here's one over here that's found a pocket. So got some strawberries developing. They need some water. I thought the rain got them, but I don't think they got enough water, so I'm gonna have to water those. All right, now I'm gonna take you up here on the deck. My greenhouses. Shout out to Tabitha, my friend. She gave me the one here on the left to use this year. Thank goodness. You can see all these tomatoes I've got to get in the ground where I tilled. So there's a bunch there. Here's a bunch over here. I've got some of these types planted already, but I've got more of each. The Jet Star I'm anxious to plant. They don't look very good because I didn't up pot them. I tell you guys, just didn't have time. When you're doing baseball 2 and 3 nights a week, you just run out of time. And the Lemon Boy, 3 of those. I love the Lemon Boy tomatoes. And then 6 Bella Rosa, which I've already got 6 planted. I probably should have planted these instead. I just like to try to save my mistakes. And then 6 Jet Star. But these Bella Rosa are going to go in the ground, and they'll be really good. I've got Bethany's 2 little scorpion peppers down here in the little pots. And then I've got my Tabasco peppers right there. Some of them. I have a lot more. Oh, there's that weed eater again. I'm going to try to get through this. These are Grande jalapenos. I love the cowboy candy, and we've got a friend, Gary, in Ash Grove. He loves it too. So, Gary, if you're watching, I'm planting about 15 Grande jalapenos. And down here is eggplant, which may already be root bound and may not do anything. I may have to go to the store and buy eggplant because this should have been in the ground a month ago. And then sweet potatoes. So right here, got 2 jars of sweet potatoes that I've got to get planted. And then I'm going to show you this, if I can get it. I'm pretty proud of this. Ray taught me this last year. But this is a pink ox heart tomato. See it here in the jar? Look at the roots. That is from a sucker that I pulled off of the original plant. You know, the one I bought at the plant sale, the Master Gardener sale. Move these back. I don't want it to fall off. That would be a disaster. But yeah, look at that. I'm going to have to turn it. See, it's already grabbed a hold of this tomato here next door and about to knock it off. Oh my goodness. We're still about to knock it off. Anyway, there it is. But it's pretty big. It's ready to go in the ground. And I'm going to plant it in the ground. On the landscape fabric and see how it does in the ground. I'm kind of excited. I've got, like I said, some of each type of tomato that's in the raised beds, and I'll just be able to do an experiment and see how they grow better. So, and then guys, here is my leafy, and it's still going strong. You can see I've got it over here kind of under the eave of the house. It gets morning sun. And anyway, my friend Ellen gave me this little orange hat dwarf tomato. I'll wait just a minute here. Okay, y'all. Look at this Leafy GreenStalk. This has been on our deck since March, I guess. And we have just really, really enjoyed the leafy greens out of this. This is Swiss chard, rainbow Swiss chard up here on the top. And it is so good sauteed with some butter and garlic and onion. Very, very good. And it's so pretty. You can saute the stems. This orange hat tomato my friend Ellen gave me. I've never heard of these, but it's a dwarf tomato. And I think it'll do really good here in the GreenStalk. I had some leftover celery, so I put it in here. It's growing. It hasn't grown much. Celery is a very slow grower. It takes like 120 days. Save that piece for the worms here, that piece of lettuce. That's some lettuce. There's some red over here. Red salad lettuce. Another little orange hat tomato. And then this is like the best lettuce. This is butter lettuce. And this is called Rex. Butter lettuce Rex. And I've got a butter lettuce. Here it is, Adrian, and it's really good too. It's darker. These are radishes all in here. And this is kale right here. This is red Russian kale. Needs to get a little bit bigger. We've picked a lot of it, but it's really, really good. We like it roasted. Oh, and then look at this little baby right here. That's a red robin dwarf tomato that I grew from seed. I've actually got 2 of them. There's one over here in this pocket too. So I don't know if they'll do anything or not. They, again, stayed in a seed tray maybe a little bit too long, but we'll see. Can't ever hurt to put them in the dirt and see what you get. So that's what I did. And got some empty cells down here, empty pockets, and I'm going to be planting some spinach. I've got I think a heat tolerant or a more heat tolerant type spinach, and arugula. Arugula you can plant. It should do okay in the summertime. And if nothing else, I can always plant more radish in there. Now this one I do have to put on a base with wheels, which I've got now. I just didn't have it when I wanted to plant my lettuce. So this is a crimson giant radish in here. Doing good. I think this is the French breakfast down here. Yeah, you can tell they're longer and thin. More lettuce, red salad lettuce right there. That's so good on sandwiches. But anyway, that's the leafy. All right, guys, that completes our garden tour for this week. And we'll keep doing these and just see how things grow. I can't wait to get some things in the actual ground and see how they do there. My dad always swore by planting things in the ground. He never had a raised bed, and he gardened right up until he was 84 years old and until he had his first stroke. So he always gardened in the ground. And so anyway, I can't wait to plant some things in the ground this year and see how that does. But there you go. And again, this is Concrete Gardens. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. Follow along with us. In my next video, I'm going to show you how to prune your tomatoes and tie them up with the strings like I do. Because you can do that in the ground if you want, or in a raised bed. And I'm also going to show you what I put in the holes right before I plant the tomatoes, what fertilizers and things that I use that I really love, that work so well. So we're going to go through all that and talk a little bit about tomatoes on the next video. So be sure you subscribe, and I'll try to get that video done this week as well, because I've got lots of tomatoes to plant this week, and we'll try to get it uploaded by the weekend. And again, it may be too late for some of you in your areas to plant tomatoes, but at least you'll have it as a reference for next year. So anyway, subscribe to our channel, Concrete Gardens Homestead. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video, and we'll see you really soon. Thanks for following along with us.